we have to take time for ourselves. Self-care is very important. Being
Yep.
mindful, that means taking time to eat every day, not
Mhm.
just working through the whole day and
Mhm.
not taking time for ourselves to give our bodies what it needs. And a lot of times, sometimes it's rest, you know? Sometimes
Mhm.
you have to rest. You have to
Yep.
know when to take time off and eat
Yep.
healthy for your body.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Ability Podcast. I am your host, Nick Yerhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. This episode of the Infinite Abilities Podcast is brought to you by the one and only Infinite Toolbox, where just like all other toolboxes, we will get the job done, guaranteed. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to save time, boost revenue, or automate your processes, Infinite Toolbox has got you covered. With powerful tools designed to drive leads, expand your reach, and gain your industry secrets, we help you work smarter, not harder. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Visit us at infinitetoolbox.com. That's infinitetoolbox.com and discover how infinite your potential really is. All right, everyone. So today we have Rachel, and I know that she's doing a lot to help people with burnout and things like that. So I can't wait for her to share her story. So, Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I am a holistic chronic fatigue health coach who once was a person who had chronic fatigue syndrome. Um,
Mm.
Never heard of it before until that point, and it's been about over 8 years now. So, I had been working overseas as a civilian contractor, prior military, so I was able to go over there and work for, the government as a civilian after I got out of the
Mm-hmm.
service. And so my hours were basically 12, 14-hour days, but it was 7 days a week. That was the contract. And so
Yeah.
I did that for about 3 years. And in the last 6 months of my contract is when I decided that I was just going to work, and save money. And where we would normally take, an R&R every 3 to 4 months, I decided that I wasn't going to. I was just going to work the next 6 months and just, save money. And it ended up
Mm-hmm.
taking a terrible toll on me. And the result was chronic fatigue syndrome. I was working nights, so I wasn't getting good regular sleep that you would, like a normal person during, the day
Yeah.
you work and at night you would sleep. I had a horrible supervisor. I was stressed out. And so all of that amounted to about, maybe after a month I got home and went to a regular physician and got a physical. And the only thing that came from that physical was that my blood pressure was somewhat elevated. And that was new for me because I never have ever had an issue with blood pressure. So after that, I ended up going to a seminar for stress, and it was put on by an acupuncturist. And he's the one that actually diagnosed me with chronic fatigue syndrome.
Okay, okay. So, can you explain exactly what chronic fatigue syndrome is?
Yes. So basically, um, it's induced by stress, or it could be some traumatic event that's happened in your life that perhaps you haven't dealt with. And due to the stress lasting, over a prolonged period of time, you start having issues with fatigue, not being able to sleep well at night, maybe waking up in the night having hot flashes, brain fog, muscle and body aching. Um, Basically, anything and everything you do, you aren't able to carry on like a regular person and just get through your day easily. You're feeling like, you're exhausted. You have to take naps. But it's the prolonged experience of these symptoms um, that you have over maybe 3 to 6 months or longer, and nothing
Mm-hmm.
you do is helping to make anything go away. Um, you may also have issues with your gut. Or your immune system. You might have swollen lymph nodes, something like that. You might get sick, quite often. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome. And a lot of the times, you feel like, oh, let me go to the doctor, and they may try to prescribe something for you. I can't sleep at night, I'm so tired, it's just been going on for so long. I don't know what's wrong with me, that type of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what people usually experience.
Well, if I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of those symptoms I've been experiencing for the past 6 weeks to 8 weeks,
Mm,
and it's getting better. You know, I
mhm,
I I, I chalk it up to burnout. I was working constantly, and I think it just finally caught up with me.
mhm,
But it's been a struggle to get out of that loop where I don't feel like doing anything. I'm tired all the time. I have aches all the time. And honestly, I wasn't taking care of my health once I started down that downward slope. So then I wasn't eating healthy, I wasn't
mhm,
exercising. So I know that just those two things alone, not eating right and not exercising, I know those two things really took it even further down. So now I'm focusing on being healthy right now, and just
mhm,
that has been a big improvement.
mhm,
But yeah, I still feel more tired than usual.
mhm,
Um, as far as sleeping, I mean, I went, you know, I'd say about a year ago, I was having trouble sleeping, and it had been going on for years. And then my health coach, I have my own holistic health coach, he was helping me, and then we got to where I could sleep good. I'd fall asleep fast, I'd stay asleep, and now I still fall asleep fast, but it's the staying asleep now that I struggle with.
oh yeah,
So I definitely resonate with what you're talking about.
oh yeah. I mean, and a lot of the times, I will say it's very perceptive of you to notice these things and actually do something about it. Because a lot of people just kind of um, feel like, okay, well, it's just, how it is every day, and they accept it, and they just think it's
Yep.
normal, and they
Hmm.
don't have to live like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, for me, I don't like it. I know
Mhm,
how I should feel. So the
mhm,
way that I've been feeling lately is like this is not me. I'm not taking the action that I need to take with my business and my clients like I should. So to me, it's a problem, and it's a problem that I'm slowly working through. It's definitely something that kind of takes time, I think. But I'm working with my coaches. I'm working with a therapist. I'm taking the actions to get myself back to where I was.
yeah, that's great because a lot of people, yeah, we love to work, we love to make money. However,
Hmm.
we have to take time for ourselves. Self-care is very important. Being
Yep.
mindful, that means taking time to eat every day, not
Hmm.
just working through the whole day and
Hmm.
not taking time for ourselves to give our bodies what it needs. And a lot of times, sometimes it's rest, you know? Sometimes
Hmm.
you have to rest. You have to
Yep.
know when to take time off and eat
Yep.
healthy for your body.
And another thing that I think is kind of what I did wrong is I wasn't taking time, for myself. Wasn't taking time to have fun and enjoy life. I was just working 24/7 every day. It was just go go go. But now it's like okay, I have to take at least a day or a week to not work and just have fun with family and friends.
Yeah, that's important. I definitely make sure that I have a day off to take care of, what I need to take care of, um, aside
Yep.
from everything that I do. So yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So, when you're working with your clients, what are like 3 things that you always work on?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is consistency, and planning out your day. You need to plan what you're going to eat every day. Don't just leave it up to chance. You can't eat processed
Yeah.
foods. You got to stay away from
Yeah.
processed foods. Um, so yeah, the consistency of, planning what you're going to eat, staying away from processed foods, and also tracking how you feel when you wake up, when you go to bed, what
Yeah.
you're eating, that type of thing.
Yeah. I'm with you. I know
Mhm.
that for me, if I don't plan out my day and basically schedule everything that I'm going to do
Mhm.
and eat, schedule time to eat and what I'm going to eat, it's like I don't get anything done. It's just like I waste the day work. It's like, so for me, I definitely have to plan everything out. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it really makes sense. It makes a difference. It really does. Keeps
Hmm.
you on track.
And then when it comes to mindset around, you know, taking care of your health, what's like the first thing that people have to realize?
Well, in the case of people with families, you can't take care of anybody if you don't take care of yourself first. And there's no such thing as being selfish.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I can't help anybody if I'm not helping myself first. Yeah,
Yeah.
I truly believe that 100%. And I've always been a giver my whole life. It's like I would always put everybody else
Mhm.
first. And I've realized that that's not the way to do it. Just like when you're on an airplane, they tell you put your oxygen mask on first before you help your neighbor. You know, that's the same thing about everything in life. Like, focus on yourself, focus on your health, focus on your mental health. You gotta focus on yourself first, so then you can help the people that you want to help.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's hard for some people because, like you said, they are
Mm-hmm.
givers. And,
Mm-hmm.
you can sit there and make excuses about, you've got to take your son here or, take care of this for your daughter. But somewhere in all of that, you've got to carve out that time, that necessary time for yourself. Because if you don't, and you neglect your health, then you're not going to be able to take care of everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. I agree. So when it comes to holistic health, when people want to start eating healthier, what are some tips that you can give them?
Well, I guess it's mainly um, start with things that you like. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe learn how to prepare certain types of food, and maybe if you prepare it a certain way, you might actually like it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Understand what your body needs. And
Mm-hmm.
even if, for example, you don't like vegetables, well, maybe you can do a smoothie, you know, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So there's ways,
Yeah.
there's ways to get around not liking certain foods. A lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times they just aren't prepared in a way that you like. So yeah.
Yep. It's kind of funny because my health coach, when I first started working with him, a lot of times he told me, if you would stop worrying about how it tastes, you'd be just fine. I'm like, but I like things that taste good. He's like, yeah, well, get over it. I'm like, no. So then I started doing my own research, and there's so many good, healthy foods that taste good. Like,
Hmm.
and this is how I look at it: is like, okay, number one, organic is always good. So try to get anything organic. And then the second thing, this is what I always think about: if it doesn't grow on its own, don't eat it. You know, it's
Mm.
pretty much that simple. If it
Basically, if
doesn't
it's in a
grow,
package, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, exactly. And then my health coach did give me the tip that I thought was kind of amazing, because he said, when you go to the grocery store,
Hmm.
stay on the outside aisle, like stay on the very outside of the store. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then the next time I went to the store, I was like, oh, that's where all the healthy food is. Everything in the middle is all processed and all this stuff that you shouldn't eat. And it's like that all over. Like all of the stores are that way. So that's a little tip that I learned.
Yeah, they set it up on purpose like that. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a
Yep.
psychology to how they set a store up. But I think if some people, maybe they're not cooks, maybe they're not used to cooking
Mm-hmm.
all this food. Take a cooking class, you know what I mean? You'd be surprised.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I agree. And wash your food. I think that really helps a lot. Even organic, you still go rinse it off.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if you can really taste your food, I can taste an apple that has pesticides and is GMO compared to an organic apple. I can taste the difference. So, you know.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. Definitely. All right. So, how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, so my website is askahealth.coach. And just so people know, I actually started my own podcast. It's the Get Your Healthy Life
Awesome.
podcast, and it's on Spotify. And basically, my podcast is for people who have chronic fatigue syndrome and, hey,
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, because what I do is I interview different holistic uh, professionals that offer different
Mm-hmm.
modalities and people that offer different products and services, all in assistance to those who have chronic fatigue syndrome. Because a lot of the times they often go undiagnosed and untreated because
Mm-hmm.
going to a regular Western medicine doctor, they're really not able to treat them. So
No.
going the alternative route is the best bet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I agree.
askahealth.coach. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Awesome. So awesome. Yeah, I know for me, I I'll call a health coach before I go to the doctor every
Mm-hmm.
time. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's incredible. I feel like ever since I started working with my health coach,
Mm-hmm.
you know, everything that I might have went to the doctor for in the past, I called him up, and he's helped me fix the problem way
Mm.
quicker than anything I've ever experienced in my life. So that
Right.
right there is like, okay. So I don't know. My opinion is I don't like medications.
Right.
Let's focus on supplements to give our bodies what they actually need, not something that they don't need, and definitely not something that is addictive.
Oh yeah.
So
Nothing like
that's
that.
where
Mm-mm.
I'm at. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just so people
So.
know, and there may be some people that are like, "Oh, I don't want to take supplements. I want to get everything from
Mm-hmm.
food." Well, if the food was able to provide everything we needed because the farmers that grew the food rotated their crops and whatnot, and the
Mm-hmm.
soil was nutrient rich, then maybe we could get everything from food. But we can't
Yeah.
always get everything from food. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we will need to supplement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you are trying to get everything from food, it tends to get expensive because you have to get a lot of different things. So it's a lot of times it's cheaper just to get the supplements, take your daily supplements, and be good.
Yeah. Well, but there are options now. Even though we're going through this bout of inflation, people can go to farmers markets, you can get a
Yeah.
lot of produce there. And even though, I mean, it is getting colder, depending on where you live, but starting a garden, you can do it in pots, you can do it indoors. That's another option for some of your vegetables, maybe your leafy greens.
Yep, exactly. I agree. All right, that's been really awesome. I do gotta ask you a question now. So my slogan is your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
Your abilities are infinite. Well, for me, there's virtually nothing that you can't address holistically, as far as your health. So for me, for Get Your Healthy Life, I always like to say, change your health, your habits, and your lifestyle. Okay. So changing all those, will put you in a healthy state. So there's infinite possibilities for people, if they just make the effort to change those things.
Yep, I agree with that 100% because I've experienced it myself. And I will say that the healthy habit thing, creating new habits, that was pretty difficult. But once you learn how to create new habits, it's definitely worth it.
Yes, but you know what? Nothing good ever comes too easy. So yeah, it's
Yep,
difficult,
yep,
but it's so much worth it in
worth
the
it.
end because, when it comes to your health, if you don't pay for it now, you're going to end up paying a lot more later.
Later. Yep, I agree. Awesome. Well, Rachel, this has been so good. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me here, the Nick Yerhart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors. So let's just get it out there by word of mouth, help more people. Alright, everyone. Remember, your abilities are infinite.